What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to do a little bit of a reshoot. This is the second time I'm recording this. I was not at all pleased with how things ended up the first time with this. My phone, the camera, whatever. It's definitely a phone. It's been giving me problems. Hopefully I can kind of burn through this pretty quick, or at least do it, kind of in better increments. So this is the DK-08EX. I wish I would have kept the first recording, honestly, as terrible as it was, but it really shows why these are completely useless, and unless you just really want some super articulate hands, sell them off. Get rid of them. Put them in the trash if you can't sell them. That's right off the bat. And of course, it's hard to prove, but with this, you see that nice bit of gold paint just straight peeled off. That was because of these hands. So just and don't get me wrong, they're cool. You get like the kind of the wrist out motion and all that other stuff. But it just, no matter where you kind of put this, and don't get me wrong, these actually fit in here tighter than they do on the stock hands. But the stock hands close up well enough. But it was just doing something simple as this, and kind of having the gun like this, and if you want to, you can kind of get pinkies out with it, if that's your thing. But as I was unwrapping these fingers to take this out of this hand, it just peeled away at it. So the hands are trash, 100%. They don't even work for the for the car mode. So like I said, I don't recommend any of that. But you can see how he's holding these. If you want to store them, you get these kind of blocky pieces right here. Let's just roll that out of the way real fast, and flip those back up. Don't even know what I'm doing with that. So they just plug in on these tabs right here. So you can kind of do that and then just put that back down. The wings were easy enough to pop on and off. Like I said, man, I'm bummed that I couldn't get it all on camera, but you can see pulling that gun out, no issue at all, one bit. Doesn't matter what side you have any of this kind of pegged in on either. So looks like I was wondering earlier why it's easiest just to go ahead and I'm not a fan of this. I this being the first one that I got in, the DK-08EX, not at all a fan. Could definitely have been executed better, maybe. Maybe if they would have, as much as we as Beast Wars fans, we're used to gold plastic not really being our best friend. They could have just molded those guns in gold plastic. Not something I would have really fought on too much. Certainly, it's been all these years. Somebody's got to have a good formula on some gold plastic. So there is that. If you want to, you can unpeg these. Here he is in jet mode. This one really doesn't require a whole lot of explanation. It's pretty straightforward. You just put them in jet mode like you normally would. It's just, this time you have these wheel pieces down here, still folded up. You don't do anything different, but you move these little pieces because they were kind of pegged in up here, and they have some little tabs. You tab them into these little slots here, and they essentially become some VTOL booster things, if that's kind of what you're into, and you would move the swords into the round pegs on top of the gold guns. So not bad at all. Again, keep the stock hands on it. Do yourself a favor, because the stock hands actually work a ton better than the upgrade hands for the vehicle mode, the kind of the rocket car mode, I guess we should say. So to go ahead and get into that, we're gonna take these back off and try not to knock all this extra stuff off. Everything, the connections aren't the best on this either. I want to be able to say some good stuff about this, but right now, it's just not lending itself to my good graces. It's most certainly just with the paint shipping alone on that one piece is 100% not worth $60. Like, I will say that right now. You know, I hate to do this to retailers trying to move product, but wait for them to clearance this thing out, because it's a junky add-on set. Just being honest. So, all right, move that forward. I believe we keep this up like this. So we're gonna peg these together. This is a tight fit connection too, for what it's worth. All right. So what happens here is we're gonna keep these straight. We're gonna move these in like that. The long side is going to tab under here into this thumb piece. If you can kind of hang on to it. There we go. Do the same thing over here. If you can get it around. There we are. Alright, so that's going to be your best bet for that. And for this, get this around. There are two kind of slot pieces in there, and there's these two little tab pieces in here. Again, just keep all of this kind of like as evened out as possible. Basically, these are going to, it's easier to come under here and do it. And it's a peculiar way they kind of tab in. There we go. And it's all kind of pressure held together like that. But there you have the rocket car mode, which honestly, it's a mode I'm okay with, like the rocket car, the armored rocket car, I guess we could call it. So, and you can, as long as yours isn't loose like mine, you can adjust that however you need, and that's good. That's solid. This is something I 100% do dig. So I do like that. Now, let's unpeg that from there. Let's work it out of these hands, because this being the alt mode for the small that I have never been fond of, I'm actually kind of fond of it with all this junk on it, making him look, I guess, more like a proper weapons platform thing. I don't know, something about all this added junk really helps it in my opinion. But that's just me. As far as if you want to have the monkey mode do something worthwhile, you can still plug everything in like you normally would for monkey mode. That's not an issue. Let's see, move that around, fold those down, fold that out. But to store this piece, you're going to kind of wiggle it in here, and then they're going to catch on these two little pieces that the cockpit would normally go into, those two little slots in there. And it doesn't, we kind of got the same problem where he's just looking down at all times, but you can kind of straighten out. Oh, I forgot to rotate these wheels back around. There we go. You can kind of, this pops off too. Maybe it's like it's a combination of it not being the greatest upgrade kit, and also I have a terrible Throne of the Primes. Could just be my crappy Throne of the Primes boy. So we'll see. Oh man, I totally forgot to move that. Hope I didn't break that stuff, man. Okay, maybe that kind of helps it. I don't know. It's hard to put anything like certain on that. So there you got the two alt modes, if that's what you want to call either of them. This definitely helps out more, fill out this back, but you're not gonna be able to peg the backpack for the cannons or anything like that on him, which I mean, it's fine. As far as the little guy, the small, we can unpeg all this, get him Toransu formed real fast. And let's rotate that up. Oh, come on. There we go. So some things that I do like about this, as far as these guns, take them or leave them. As far as these guns, take them or leave them. But these swords, what I think is really cool, is that they store on the backpack. I'm a sucker for weapon storage, of course. So, and of course, he can actually hold these very nicely. So that is something there. And they just look good. Like, it's just a really good sculpt on these swords. The paint apps are good. I like them. I think the retail color one has like the blue handled swords, and that's all well and good too. So, like I said, that's something that I do appreciate, something I can get behind for sure, and I do like it. So that is at least one positive thing that I've kind of been able to get at. So let me go ahead and get him back into the combined mode, and we'll do a final thoughts and get ourselves out of here. Alright, so here we go. Final thoughts. The set adds a lot of presence to it. It makes it a heavier figure, but that, in my experience, has kind of turned out to be a bad thing. You know, the thighs and even the ankles aren't really the tightest, and neither are the knees. It's all, you know, friction pin joints, so it's already kind of difficult to get in there and tighten those up anyways. So you're going to be kind of limited on poses that you can do, and even still, like, you can just see to what degree just adding this little bit of stuff has done to the back heaviness in general. It is some thick stuff, and that's something I can commend it on. I don't really feel like it's going to break. As far as an engineering thing, I think it's cool how these pieces go in here. You know, you fold this, I didn't show it, but you fold it down and they just kind of slide in there. So they're locked in, and I think that's awesome. That's something I really can't talk bad about. There's a lot of like I'm very skittish now with this gold paint, just not sure if it's gonna you know, be good, if it's gonna stay. You know, which I got it on the inside of this piece now just to kind of hide it. But that's something that definitely is a concern for something that costs, you know, $60, 60 or 70, however much it was. I like these longer wing bits. Again, in the event of you having a figure like mine where there's some looseness in some areas, that can be kind of problematic. But overall, like, you can definitely get it to work. Just as a preference thing, I always keep these down here, but honestly, I think it would work out better if they were up top, just from a structural standpoint. And like, this is something else. Just on mine, it's loose. It's not this piece. It was loose before this piece, but it's like either at a 90-degree bend or straight down. Like, that's just all I can get out of it. Where this one is a lot tighter. So that's not something I want to really say bad about, you know, the weight of these guns, because I do like these, man. I really wanted this set for the bling bling, and he does have some of that, but it comes at a cost, and I'm not sure that cost is $60. I get the appeal for it, I do, but whatever you do, stay away from these. These just are not worth it. So, you know, that's all I can really say towards it. But as far as, you know, getting let me actually get this for a decent-ish comparison. As you can see, I've already started some not mass-produced upgrades for this version. But like, it helps, I think. I think it really does a lot for the way the figure looks. Adds maybe too much heft, and I will say that. But anyways, like I said, if maybe there's someone that has a better Throne of the Primes that can compare, maybe they get a piece with better paint, but maybe they get a piece with better hands. I'm definitely looking forward to trying the DK-08 Plus hands on this guy, just to see if maybe, you know, there's just some differences there. You know, I won't know for sure but it's something I'm willing to try, nevertheless. But as far as on the Throne of the Primes version, just stay away from them. They really don't work out in any of the modes. You just can't get anything to work. Not like the stock hands. Now, if you just want them for robot mode, have at. There you go. But anyways, that's it for this review, guys. Hope you found it somewhat enlightening as to whether or not you want to make the purchase. Like I said, hopefully the retail colors one I may have a little bit better luck with, but we'll see. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.